last year I did a 2-cycle Diesel Kleen burn test. Now we all know that when the diesel fuel additive is added to the diesel fuel and it goes through the rails and it's pressurized and it combusts, the chemical reactions are completely different from just doing a simple burn test. We all know that. I knew that. The burn test was just that, a burn test, because I saw another video of other companies doing it. Anyways, since that video, I have actually stopped using Diesel Kleen, and no, I have never ever put 2-cycle oil into my 2016 Ram. My older 99 Cummins, yes, I had used 2-cycle. Oh, and 2-cycle is a trick that's been used for decades in diesel. It's nothing new. Anyways, so I have recently started using Hot Shot Secret. And the reason for that is my 2016, I had reached 35,000 miles August of last year or something. And suddenly I started getting a Regen In Process message. It would say DPF full, Regen In Process, and then it would give me the counter, 90% full, 80%, 70, 60, and then Regen Complete. Now, I had never seen that in the first 35,000 miles. Yes, I know the truck is regenning. I know it does do it passively. I do a lot of highway driving. I drive 500-600 miles every weekend. I know it happens, but I have never seen it in a message. It's never popped up. Well, I thought, oh, well, maybe this is one of those fluke things. Well, the very next day, it did it again. And then the very next day, it did it again. So I was like, oh, that's weird. What's going on? And keep in mind, I had recently just moved to North Carolina. Maybe it's the diesel fuel in the region. I don't know. Maybe it's dirtier. Don't know. Well, I had double dosed on Diesel Kleen to see, maybe I just need a double dose on Diesel Kleen. It'll maybe clean it out, right? Well, no. After I did that, the very next day, I would get that message. Now, previously, those previous 3 days, the message would come up only once a day. Regen In Process, DPS full percentage, 90, 80, 70. So it would go down within like a 10-minute period. It didn't last very long. But after I double dosed on Diesel Kleen, it came up the next day and it did it for about 30 miles. It kept saying DPF full, Regen In Process. 5 or 6 seconds later, it would say Regen Complete. Then another 5 or 6 seconds later, DPF full, Regen In Process. It did this for about 30 miles. It would constantly say Regen In Process, Regen Complete, Regen In Process, Regen Complete. I mean, it was going crazy. So I stopped off at I pulled over, I stopped off at a local auto parts store, and I picked up some Hot Shot Secret. Now, this is Hot Shot's everyday diesel. That's basically, that's 1 ounce per 25 gallons. Now, I'll get to that. Some people will say, oh, how can 1 ounce, 25 gallons do anything? Whatever. But I bought their Diesel Extreme. What I liked about their Hot Shots Diesel Extreme is that it's only meant to use twice a year. Per the bottle, an average driver of 12,000 miles a year, so that's every 6,000 miles, you would only add 16 ounces to like 30-gallon tank, something like that. Well, I had dumped, it came in a bottle of 32 ounces, I believe. I dumped a good chunk of that bottle in the tank. I said, what the heck? As a matter of fact, the reason why I chose Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is because I saw another YouTube channel, Mopar 1500 Diesel, something like that. He has like 180-some thousand miles on his Eco Diesel Ram, and he was getting DPF codes, and he tried all kinds of fuel additives, Lucas, some European stuff, I mean, all kind. Cleaned out his turbo, bought a new turbo, bought this and that, spent thousands of dollars trying to fix it, and it didn't do nothing. And then he added an entire bottle of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme, and he hasn't had a problem since. So that's what convinced me to try Hot Shot Diesel Extreme, because when I was getting that DPF Regen message, it was freaking me out. So I dumped that bottle in, and I, ran my usual, 500 miles that weekend. Well, after dumping that bottle in and, driving an additional, I don't know, 30 miles or so, the message went away. And that was at 35,000 miles. Well, it's 2017. I am now at 50,800 miles. I have not had a DPF regen message at all since then. Also, since then, I have using Diesel Extreme, I use this Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel. So with the Diesel Kleen, I was adding, an average of 6 to 8 ounces per tank fill. My tank is, I've got a 31-gallon tank, so I would add about 6 to 8 ounces, sometimes 10, just depending. And I was going through Diesel Kleen, I was going through a lot. Well, one of these bottles will last me a whole month, because I only have to use 1 ounce. I mean, it's great. Last me maybe even longer than a month. So, and every 10,000 miles, I will add Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme. I'm sorry I don't have a bottle to show you what that is, but every 10,000 I would use Hot Shot Diesel Extreme. I poured that in the tank. And during my regular fill-ups during the week, I would use this Hot Shot Secret EDT, Everyday Diesel. It's 1 ounce per 25 gallons. And I have not had a problem, ever, since I started using it. So I don't use Diesel Kleen. I have never put 2-cycle oil in my 2016 Ram. That's ridiculous. Another reason I switched over is because when you look at the data sheet for Power Service Diesel Kleen, it does have sulfur content. I believe the ash content is like 15 parts per million. It's just like diesel fuel today, 15 parts per million, the ultra low sulfur diesel. Well, the data sheets for Hot Shot Secret, Diesel Extreme, and Everyday Diesel has 0 ash content. So that's really good in terms of the newer emissions. So this additive doesn't add any more sulfur or ash or whatever. It doesn't add any. Whereas Diesel Kleen, you do have an ash content of 15 parts per million. With Hot Shot Secret, Diesel Extreme, and Everyday Diesel, you don't. There is 0 ash content. So I believe that also helped out in whatever happened to my truck at 35,000 miles. I don't know. But switching over, I haven't had any problems. But I just want to make this video to clear up my other video about the 2-cycle oil. I don't even use 2-cycle. I've never used it in my 2016. I did for my older trucks when we switched over to ultra low sulfur diesel from low sulfur diesel, and and the switch from regular diesel to low sulfur. I mean, all that jazz back in the 90s, I guess. But there you go.